get all this background stuff out of it. I don't know.
Adobe literally advertised to me today, like something that they put in Premiere. Did you get this, Max? Or I mean, you probably work in Premiere as much as I do. If you launch Premiere right now, there's like some picture of a lady, like a real life. She actually is probably an AI generated lady. Now that I think about it, there's a picture of a lady at the top that says like, "Get an introduction to AI editing voice software" or something with Premiere.
Oh no, I pirate that shit, dude.
100%.
I could, but like, I don't know. I don't like updating mid-project when I have all these like very specific plugins. I still haven't updated my plugins specifically because I want them to like continue working the same way that they've always worked. I'm just very stubborn like that.
Should we do? I don't know. I don't even know if he's recording yet. Will's like, should we do the intro? I'm sorry.
I recorded like a few minutes ago, so I can start whenever, dude.
Okay. Well, welcome to the AnythingCast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Will.
Yeah, Will's here, and with us today is Max. Or do you go by Max? Should I call you Max?
I always go by Max because my name is actually Maximilian.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That fucking rules, dude.
That is cool.
I also have a really long last name, so like teachers used to hate me.
Is your last name isn't Pegasus, right?
No, what? What's that? What?
I don't have one eye replaced.
Maxor secretly has one golden eye. He can see your hands.
Maxor secretly wants to be a millionaire on YouTube so he can buy a private island to host child card games.
Yeah, this is all alleged. Allegedly. So like the fucking we watched before we did this, before we get like Will came up here like an hour ago because he was like, it's at 4, and I was like, no, he said like maybe 5 o'clock. So we've just been sitting at this table watching the other interview that you did, like, and I say watching.
So sorry.
I say like, you know, watching, but like Will's fucking ADHD ass can't watch something for more than 30 seconds. So
I talked through all of it?
He did. He talked through the whole fucking thing. It was adorable. But yeah, we've just been like watching that and like hanging out and doing shit, coming up with questions and shit to ask you. But like, yeah, we were like, what questions have people already asked you? And then he pretty much covered everything.
You're referring to the one that I did with Dustin?
Yes.
I have no fucking
I believe
clue.
that was his name, yeah.
I have no fucking
clue.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
He seems like a great guy.
He seems very kind and very like he knew.
Don't look at me like you want me to tell you what the word to use is.
Was a very good researcher into interviewing. I don't know.
You're saying he was very professional.
Yes.
Yeah. The word you're looking for is professional.
See, I knew you'd find the word for me.
Yeah. See, that's our dynamic. But yeah, we were just like, I don't want to ask him like how, because you said shit like I make 30 seconds to 45 seconds of video editing a day, and you covered practically everything. It was like basic questions. So we figured we just ask you fun shit like, who's best girl in Evangelion, Max?
There is only one answer that will not invite suspicion, and that is Misato.
Dude, hell yeah.
Otherwise, you're just like...
Hold on. No, you have to look at it for who's best for Shinji, and the best thing for Shinji... Who was the guy? Who was the angel?
Kaoru?
That is the best girl.
Okay, you're in Kaoru camp?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever talked to you about
Kaoru is the best thing for Shinji.
For Shinji, I think it is bad to be in a relationship with some kind of immortal devil creature.
But they're an angel. It's fine.
So you're against Asuka too?
Yeah, basically, minus the immortal part.
Yeah.
Like, imagining that I was a 15-year-old boy, it would be healthier for me to be molested by Misato than anything else in that fucking universe.
I don't know. Rei seems like alright, even though she obviously fucks his dad. I mean, like, it would be an okay relationship.
No, it's a weird relationship with the doctor and the guy.
Rei is his mom, though.
So she's like a clone of his mom. She's not his mom.
I just think that's a little strange, you know? I'm wondering what the creator was going on about with that.
You know?
You know?
I think... I thought he was trying to say that, like, mecha anime is whack, but then he went to a bunch of Sigmund Freud shit, and I don't know.
Shinji, I need you to defeat the angels. Get inside your mom.
Reinstart all of humanity within the primordial womb.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah. Something that actually did get brought up in the other interview that I thought was like actually an interesting fucking thing that made me like be like, oh, that is a question I could ask. At some point, you mentioned that like some other guy that is like a fan of yours basically started making videos like yours, and then you shouted his name out. I don't remember. It started with a J, but I watched his videos. Super cool videos. But you said like. In the interview, you were like, oh, yeah, I watched his stuff, and then it told me, like, basically you were driven to be better. Like...
No. So, the thing is, like, what I do now, I would say, was invented by this person, really.
Really?
When originally, what I was going for was a bit more like, there are some YouTubers who just show themselves playing a game, like Donkey, for example.
Right.
They'll show themselves playing a game and throw in silly bits and be like, haha, here's like a gameplay moment that I did or whatever, and just talk about things generally. And I was going for like a combination of that and Seth originally, like just in terms of the writing and review department. That was what I was going for.
Right.
But more focused on like what happens in a game instead of just the game in general. And now I can do both, which is good. But I really, when I saw his types of videos, I don't think like anyone really was doing exactly what he was doing in the way that he was doing it. Like, when people were editing a lot, it was usually in the context of them making, like, music videos for like, montages or some shit. I don't know, maybe he didn't invent exactly the concept of, like, really highly editing and color correcting in this certain, like, talking format or review format where you inform the viewer while trying to be funny. But, like, I think at the time it was fairly new, like, the idea of, like, Seth reviewing a game, but the entire time he's like being very funny about it and maybe summarizing details incorrectly on purpose.
And almost sort of in a character of the game.
Yeah, and I think it was Jimothy Ross, by the way. That is the name of the channel, Jimothy Ross. And he was, I think, like, generally one of the first people to, like, start synthesizing those ideas. And because my scripts were so similar to his anyways, like, we relatively had the same style. We had the same, like, flow. And I saw his videos and I actually saw his videos because he messaged me and was just like wanting to talk about editing stuff. But I was like, this guy's on another level. And I realized, like, I think before that, like, my biggest conception of what could be done was a little limited. Like, it was almost like I didn't know that, like, the stuff I do now was, like, possible, or at least, like, I didn't conceive of it in a way that, like, I didn't think that it could be done like that until I saw it all, like, together in the right place, and I was like, okay, this is, like, a good idea. I should build off of this, basically.
I think I sort of see what you mean. Patrick was saying earlier how he admired your editing style, just how good it was.
Yeah, it's insane. It's literally insane. If you know how to edit, then yes, it's literally insane to look at. But
speaking of editing, real quick, I was watching a YouTube short earlier, and so this was a fake news thing, just real quick, and I'll send it to you later. But China apparently made a fusion reactor that can burn 3 times as hot as the sun's core, and this is a real thing.
Okay,
and it's like up in like a warehouse thing, right?
Okay.
But the video it shows like some of them launching it up in the air, and I'm pretty sure it's like a rocket or something like that.
Yeah,
but it's just a big sunball, just like moving at like a big speed up in the air.
The hottest temperature the hottest proposed temperature in the entire universe besides the Big Bang was probably on Earth.
Why do you fucking know that?
You read books or something?
When you have autism, and you hear certain facts, they'll just stay with you forever. You will never forget them, no matter what.
Wait,
why was the Earth so hot? What made it so hot? Like, I thought the sun would be hot.
I believe it was the result of a particle accelerator. So it was only for like the shortest of instances, but it was proposed to have been like, several times like the heat of the inside of like the largest star or whatever, that kind of shit.
What's that goddamn anime with the time travel? and the particle accelerator.
I have
yeah,
no
you do.
fucking
You
clue.
do. You do know what it is.
You saw
Steins
Steins
Gate?
Gate?
Yes, Steins
Yeah,
Gate.
me
Yes,
and Max
yes,
both at the
straight
same
up.
time just be like, Steins Gate?
Real life Steins Gate.
Yeah, real life Steins Gate. That's right, Will. Finally, real life Steins Gate.
I get to go. I'm gonna travel back in time, dude. I'm gonna go break into the lab.
Max, I hope you can see what I meant earlier by Will's just ADHD ass just immediately popping into another topic.
Oh no, my brother has ADHD. I'm 100% used to holding conversations exactly like this.
It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's great to have on a podcast format because you'll literally never run out of things to talk about ever. Do you ever had any like fucking things with creepy fans yet?
I get people like not really like. For reference, I just haven't really been recognized in real life, like almost ever. Not like on the street. I do have one story related to that, but anyways, sometimes I'll just get messages on Discord where it's like people begin with a question because I say like, you know, my DMs are open because people often have a lot of questions, and I like don't want to keep everything secret. Some things I'll keep, like, you know, I'll like, oh, I'd prefer that I don't tell people how to do this. Yeah, some people will just message me like, oh, what's your process for this? Like, how long do you work, blah, blah, blah. Or just like general editing stuff. As long as it's not like super, super basic, like I'll answer the question. Just try to be nice like that. And people begin with questions because they know I respond to those. Or they might talk about Genshin Impact because they'll know I'll respond to those.
Why would you do that? Why would you do? That's the worst idea.
Every Genshin Impact fan knows that once you got Genshin Impact on the mind,
they might lead with that, and then they just keep going on about their personal lives, and it's like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
And usually, like, I it feels bad. Like, I'm not a great person at just saying no. I always try to be courteous all the time. So I'll just, after a certain point, probably stop responding unless they go back to a question.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
wait, so are you like, you from like the South or something where they have like, where courteous is like the name of the game?
No, but I am from Hawaii.
Fucking
Ah.
what? Really?
Yeah, and Hawaii people are really nice.
it's true. I think Hawaii is like famed for their courtesy.
They also they really fucking hate Americans or something, right?
Okay, like, in reality, like, I'm gonna talk about it, but in reality, like, Hawaiians are really, like, not racist. You know, they're the least racist Americans, in my opinion. They're accepting of everyone, unless you're Micronesian.
I see. We're from Mississippi, so it's the exact opposite.
What is a Micronesian? Hold on, what's a Micronesian?
As soon as you're Micronesian, the racism activates, basically.
They're tiny Nesians, dude.
Well, I'm so confused. Are these like little Indonesian people? What is a Micronesian?
No, like, Micronesia is a country.
It's like a little tiny island.
Yeah, it must be tiny, dude.
I believe, actually, I'm not sure if it's a country or it's a series of regions.
Yeah.
So it could be a collection of countries like Kiribati or something like that. But anyways, I believe that we offered asylum to a large amount of Micronesians because we tested nuclear bombs next to them.
Yeah.
I see.
It's a good
Okay.
reason. Good reason to
So
offer asylum.
Micronesians, like, and you know, they don't have much job opportunity on like small atolls in the middle of the Pacific. So and so a large amount of them, I believe, came to Hawaii, and we're just like, Hawaii is a majority state. We don't even have a majority like ethnicity at all. But we're just all racist against Micronesians. Sorry, we as if it includes me. No, I want to be clear.
You're
Not a
white.
racist
I
person.
understand. You're not whole. Yeah, I understand what you're going for.
Oh no.
I'm white. I'm a whole different kind of racist.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, dude, we're from Mississippi. This is like the home of racism.
we birthed it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Racism here is very alive and well. We're
Racism has a home here.
Yeah. We are legitimately 50 miles, less than 50 miles from the home of the Grand Leader, Grand Lizard.
Like, it's not uncalled
Grand
for
Lizard.
being stopped on the middle of the road and then giving you pamphlets to come to a meeting.
Yeah. The KKK will like give you pamphlets here.
Oh, that's fucking weird. Okay.
It's chill. It's pretty
That's
chill.
not chill. Don't say that.
It's pretty
Don't
chill.
say that.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Speaking of the South, do you watch football at all?
I actually don't. You know, like, it never.
You about to just talk at this man about football?
That's great. Because did you know? No, it's cool. It's cool. I was just gonna say that for anyone who does care on our podcast that listens, Nick Saban's retiring, which is huge in the football news.
Who the fuck is that?
That was the Alabama's head coach.
I don't listen. I don't fucking do football either,
and,
Max. I'm right with you on this. I have no
as
fucking
a real
clue.
quick summary, basically, big name in the football world, big team in the college football scene.
You say it was Alabama?
Yeah.
So like right next door.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, king of college football as far as it's concerned.
Is it really?
Yeah. And his retirement made huge shockwaves in the news.
Why?
Because he was the king.
Oh, okay.
He was number one.
Yeah, he abdicated
He was
the throne.
number one.
Absolutely, yes.
That's how we'll bond. SpongeBob quotes.
Because I was like, as a kid, I like. Now you like, if you were to speak to me, if you were to like have a conversation with me, or even like look at my behavior at any given time, you would never guess that like I had autism from like a young age, because it's fairly high functioning.
Yeah,
but he's good at masking.
Because of that, I was really disconnected from a lot of like general like gatherings and stuff like that, and like situations where I would just like be like on like a Game Boy or something like that, or I'd be drawing, or I'd be like playing Roblox with my brother, and it never got to the point where like football caught on for me as a kid or as a teen. Like I never really tried with it, I guess.
Hold on, did you say you played Roblox with your brother?
Yeah, I think I played Roblox like when it first came out, like a year after Roblox came out. It's a different game now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how old are you?
I was born in 1998.
God
Whoa.
damn, you're like Will's age.
Oh, he's 2 years. He's my sister's age.
Oh, okay, he's younger than you.
That's crazy.
I'm a fucking old man, dude. I'm 32
I totally
or something.
get it. Football is a very
Oh.
recent thing for me, and it's only because I started getting friends who are deeply into football. So I'm now casually into it pretty much. But yeah, I totally get it. Pretty much at any gathering, I also was just either in a book or on a Game Boy.
Yeah,
playing Pokemon.
I'm fucking autistic and he's got ADHD. So I mean, like,
Okay, neurodivergent crew.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how did you get into Genshin then? Was it just like...
So I actually did get into it because I thought, oh, it'll be a funny video. I have no ideas.
You didn't think that maybe they preyed on people like you?
Yeah, they.
You didn't consider before?
I was so my victimhood began.
Yeah.
I see the
So I kind of
trap.
played through it really quickly. And I play through things. I can play through things pretty quickly for videos. Like, and that's what I did. And that's kind of to my advantage because the biggest turnoff in Genshin is the story for the first like 1 or 2 weeks that you play it.
And the girls, am I right? Yuck.
Well, I mean, like, one thing about Genshin that gives you, like, a hard reality check is that a lot of video games, they kind of give you, like, a lot of shit to begin with. They'll be like, oh, if you play, you'll get this many wishes. If you play, you'll get this, blah, 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 for free. Genshin doesn't do that. It never feels the need to do that. So Genshin, like, sets you up with the starting characters and is like, okay, now you gotta work for it.
Genshin knows its worth.
On some level, I kind of respect that because it's not bullshitting you. At least it's not going like, "Oh, here's rewards," and then they shut off the dopamine spout.
It's like seeing the high dollar prostitute.
Nah.
Yeah, Will's right. It's like high dollar
Yeah,
prostitutes.
it's like seeing the high dollar prostitute who knows, she knows she's worth it. She's like, $2,000, and you're like, damn, okay.
In my first video, I mentioned how, like, you don't see me playing any 5-star characters in my first video at all. Like, I don't have them. And I remember, like, I only played with, like, my main footage was me playing just one DPS who very unfortunately couldn't do reactions with other characters. She just threw rocks at enemies. And that was, like, 90% of the combat footage in that video. But anyways, I kept playing it because, well, first of all, it just encourages you to, like, log in every day. But honestly, because it's the type of game for me. It's a game where most of the time, when you're waiting for new content to do on your day off or whatever, because I kind of like the story a little bit, it's a game that you only really play for, like, 30 minutes a day, and that's nice for me. because I edit like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I could see how that'd be actually pretty nice.
Like before I start work, I just do the Genshin commute, and then I feel like my mind is ready, and then I can work.
So it's like the anti-CSGO. You don't play it for like 10 hours. You just play it for like 30 minutes. You put it down.
Yeah, it's a toilet game pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets a bad rap when actually it's just popular, but I don't think it does anything. I don't think it does anything that's that wrong. I mean, gacha in general is obviously not great, but it's just here to stay. But for the gacha genre, it's not even that bad.
I only know it from the advertisements.
I legitimately only know it from the porn.
I see. What's the one where it's like boats? It's like admirals and like the
that
ladies
one is Azure Lane, I believe.
Yeah,
that's
Azure
the one
Lane.
where they're like, well, we don't have as much of a player base. Our game's like only in 2D. I don't think we're developing a sequel. Let's just release like a skin where the cowgirl is huge tits.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's like a yandere girl in there or something like that, and I'm like,
There's
maybe
like
I'll check
3
it
in
out.
There's like 3 evil yanderes in that game alone. It's insane.
All right, you don't need to convince me anymore.
Yeah. You've got
I'm
Will's
all
vote.
over it.
Will's a little bit too into yanderes. It's become like an actual issue.
Oh yeah, Kindred Soul. That's great.
He's looking up fucking live action yandere porn, dude. I'm telling you, he's sending this shit to me at 3 a.m.
Wow, look at how she kidnapped him.
So, do your
It
parents?
could be me.
Do your parents know what you do?
Oh yeah, they're huge fans.
Are they really?
Oh gosh, I could not
my mom
imagine.
just kind of like watches, and most stuff flies over her head. But my dad will ask me about like things in the video, like what's this? So it's really funny having to explain like a weird internet joke to your dad, and like so I got pretty good at like phrasing things to to have it like make sense when oftentimes they're really esoteric. Like I like try to explain E to somebody who's like 50, you know, like the Markiplier E.
How do you explain E?
It's really fucking difficult.
How do you explain the Taco Bell
Max-
like bong sound to your dad?
I just told him, like, I don't tell like the exact truth of why something's popular because I don't know. So in those cases, I just say, yeah, it's like an unexpected and funny impact noise. So I just sampled it from a Taco Bell commercial, which is the truth.
Yeah, technically the truth. I get it.
Yeah, so
What's your favorite like old internet meme? For example, like mine is has science gone too far, and it'll be like a seagull with like 2 ripped biceps.
Oh yeah, those rule.
Yeah.
Those like really old shitty memes.
the ones that really stand out to me in my memory, and it's something I really liked and nobody else liked,
So truly you are
Were-
autistic.
were the Inglip memes.
The fucking
Do
what?
you know about Inglip?
Inglip? No.
No.
Okay, Inglip was this entire
Patrick,
these
put up
guys
some Inglip
basically, I
memes.
think it might have been a Reddit thing, or this was before Reddit really took over. So it was its own website basically,
I do know what this is.
What is this?
where
It's-
people would make images where they were like just generating CAPTCHA.
I forgot what the
and taking
name of it
picture
was,
the
dude.
CAPTCHA. And they were like making their entire canon of like what the CAPTCHA is, what it
Yes.
wants, like the lore.
I remember
And the
this.
CAPTCHA like represented basically an eldritch god named Inglip. And people were just making like people were like adopting names on this like website according to like names that Inglip gave them. And talking and basically like forming a lore in which Inglip was like ordering people to do things. Let me like look up an example, I guess, but like
Does this website still exist?
I don't think so.
I remember it being from the Mongolian basket weaving forum personally.
I thought it was just little internet memes people just made up.
No, like the CAPTCHA was from 4chan. Like it was like right when 4chan put a CAPTCHA there, so it's like to decrease spam. I got on 4chan at like 12 years old or something. Like I was literally ruined as a child. Like I guarantee you there's like a picture of me somewhere where it's like the moment I got on 4chan and then I just changed personalities. Like I'm smiling young child and then just like straight face like
It's
for the
that
rest of the
It's
pictures.
that shadow face thing. Where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
look downtrodden now.
The lore of the Inglips, or the Inglip lore, also it calls followers of Inglip Gropagas, because somebody like once uploaded a picture of the captcha that just said "called Gropagus." I just thought that was the funniest shit on earth as a child. Like, that was what really stood out to me.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I might have been in middle school.
But so you had been like 12 or 13 if you were 16 around that time.
I think that might have been when it happened, was when I was like, I discovered it late. I didn't discover it as it happened because I was like a dumb child.
I also discover everything cool so fucking late, or just always behind it. Like every cool ARG video thing that comes out, I always discover it too late.
You into that shit, Max?
Yeah.
You like ARGs?
No.
Yeah, me neither, dude.
I don't know, like, I might look at them and then be like, oh, well, someone will figure this out, and then I just forget about it until the next one.
Same. What about fucking SCPs? What's a big cult classic thing that you're into?
I don't like SCPs. I'm trying to think of like what you mean by that.
I think he's with me on this. I think he's just not into any of the weird fucking shit.
The one thing that really speaks to my autism that I do a lot is world building.
Oh my god!
I can't really think of that much else.
Patrick's super into world building too.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people who really likes like imaginary map forums and stuff like that. I think
you play D&D.
Like my shit's just more niche. I'm sorry. What, can you repeat that?
You play D&D?
I played a little bit, but like my experience, my first time playing D&D wasn't fantastic. So I do like world building. You know, I think D&D also imposes certain restrictions. For the sake of players, imposes those restrictions. Like it has to be a kind of environment that can offer like a certain degree of freedom. Whereas like I kind of like world building that is done with a point, or like that is mostly like to tell a certain type of story.
I feel that.
Even though I'll world build and then not tell a story, I'll think to myself, well, this will make a good story.
Have you ever written anything?
No, not really. I remember in high school, like, because I fucking work too much, dude. But I remember in high school, I would start it, and just, like, because of, like, I'll get a bad week, or I'll really have to study, I'll kind of lose track of those things. And then, like, another thing would begin a few months later. That kind of shit. I think just normal high school stuff. Like, it's not crazy.
You said studying, so it made me immediately be like, wait, are you talking about college? Did you go to college?
Oh, yeah, I graduated.
Hell yeah, man. Me too. What'd you graduate in?
I actually have an undergrad degree in computer science.
Oh, dude, hell
Nice.
yeah. IT and networking for me. Will's programming.
I think, like, CS is nice. I do like it. It's the thing I like around as much as I like editing. But I don't know if it probably just wasn't a good idea considering like the way the market is.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
But it's not like I should. It's not like I should be hyper analyzing the market. I feel like there are a lot of things I can be interested in. Like I don't just go, oh, this is my thing, and nothing else is, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I went to the sociology department at my university, and I just entered like a basic religion class. It was you had to take a world religion, so I took Islam. And my professor was like, "You're in CS? Like, you should do this." Like, because he just liked the way that I wrote, I guess, or like he thought that I was interested in it, and I was interested in it.
I thought you were gonna say this because he thought you'd be interested in Islam. He was like, yeah, you should become like an Islamic.
Yeah, you should convert. Like,
yeah. Was he Islamic?
You get most Christians pray like once a day. You get to do it 5 times a day.
Why would they not have an Islamic dude teaching the Islamic class?
No, he wasn't. He was not a Muslim. He was a Baha'i person.
What the hell is that?
Okay, Baha'i is like trying to make every religion on earth work together.
Oh, he was like a universalist.
No, Baha'i is a specific kind of like. Okay, it was like the prophet of the Baha'i religion was born in Iran. He generally believed in like a synthesis of all Abrahamic religions.
Oh, okay.
So they have like a holy city, they have like holy texts. It's not like it's very specific. It is a religion.
Would the holy city not be Israel if it's like all of the Abrahamic?
I mean, we always have generally holy cities, but they have like a certain. I think they have a certain city in Israel that they're organized faith is based in.
Oh, okay.
How did he feel about a
kinda
two-state
like-
solution?
It's kind of like Salt
Don't
Lake
ask
for
that.
Mormons.
Don't ask that.
Sorry.
What was that question?
I said, how did he feel about a two-state solution?
He did not comment on the two-state solution.
Damn. How do you feel about the two-state solution,
You
Max?
can't ask that.
All right, so I think, like, honestly, everyone like talks about like a one-state solution where they're like, oh, you know, I would love it if everyone could get along in a single secular state where both Palestinians and Israelis have the same rights. And that is noble. That is a good idea. However, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic, in my opinion. It's not pragmatic to aim and expect for that, if that makes sense.
We're gonna have this conversation. All right, we're gonna have this conversation. I agree with you. I think that realistically, it's not very funny. It's not a funny topic, but realistically, yeah.
I'm so sorry. My autism came out. It's attacking.
No.
That's the point. I just never expected we'd get to have this conversation.
Yeah, me neither. I think I agree with you. It's not realistic to assume that two people who don't want to live together will live together.
Israel would have to give concessions that they would never give, is the issue. And as long as Hamas is in power, they will not give concessions. So it's like not realistic to assume that could happen.
It is true. Essentially, I think the biggest thing is the thing that would have to happen is Israel would have to take an attack from Hamas and like just take it and then like do the smart thing and be like, okay, like Hamas is bad. Now let's take out Hamas leadership and not bomb civilians. And
I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to go too far.
No,
into
we won't
depth
go
on
too
that.
deep into it. But
I don't
like,
want to say like I think this should be done immediately. Like I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you
I'm
think?
gonna stop myself from
True.
doing that.
That's completely fair on your part. We're shitty nobodies.
But I totally think like it's not like everything I've said thus far. I don't believe is any kind of controversial opinion that could like make people mad at me.
No. Don't worry.
It's like something that is fairly respectable.
We'll let people get mad at us. You don't worry about you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't want to end up like Boogie 2988.
For sure.
Plus, like I'm not really like informed on politics. I don't feel like it's like my opinion is extremely important or like needs to be told to other people. It's not like I study anything or have qualifications.
That's okay. The more you learn about politics, the more you learn that nobody's informed about politics.
Exactly. Yeah.
Will is legitimately the politics boy on the podcast. Like I don't know shit. Every episode he comes on, he's like, "This is what's going on in the world," and then we just
I know there's somebody that cares.
Yeah, we do some like rudimentary like shit trying to like solve it with our.
I'll summarize a week in a sentence, basically. Speaking of like of I don't know, transition suddenly.
Yeah.
Did you hear about MatPat?
Yeah, in general, I heard about him. I watched like the first minute of the video and I was like, oh, okay, I understand this. Like literally just like, as a YouTuber, he takes like a second to explain it. But I looked at the video for like just a short period of time. I was like, I know exactly what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, a retirement YouTube video. But do you think did you watch MatPat growing up? Was this kind of like a big shock to you, like many people?
Not really. I think like the first time I heard about MatPat was already when he was on the down slope, and by that I mean like after a certain point, his videos just kind of became about like
Freddy Fazbear
having a specific younger target audience, and oftentimes inventing like theories that would make good titles. Now, like, I think he does great work, but he has like videos like, is Mario a communist?
Well, is like, Mario a communist, Max? That's the real question.
I feel like I wish he was, but unfortunately,
yeah, I don't. Did you see that the Pope was like, we should get along with Marxists?
I think he literally just said, "Let's open dialogue," and people flipped the fuck out at that.
I'm down with it.
So somebody in my politics channel was like, "Guys, the Pope is Marxist."
I wish,
buddy.
I
think you're taking that one a little too far. Like, I don't know about that one, dog.
How funny would it be for the Vatican State to become a complete socialist like utopia?
Oh, I wanted to ask you to finish your thing on. You said that you had like a creepy interaction with somebody in person one time. Can I ask you about that, or is that do you want to talk about that?
It's not that. It's really not that bad. It's like it's actually quite nice, or it's not nice, but it's funny. I dated a girl for a while who knew about me before I met her because she worked with one of my parents, and they just tell everyone about me. And she apparently had already seen my videos before that point. And she was like, "Oh, your son's Maxor."
Oh.
And then eventually I met her and we ended up dating. And normally like I would be kind of against that, but I really like didn't know, and it, like,
But she was
how,
super
like,
hot.
Yeah,
at
I was gonna
all.
say she was super
really
hot.
nice. She was like the most interesting person like I dated for a while, and then she had to move to a different country, but that's an entire thing. It's kind of like normally it's kind of a red flag, or like,
Right,
I think
absolutely.
I think I've seen like what is it? Like the guys on Trash Taste actually talked about this, where they were like, I will understand what they mean. Like if I was in a different kind of situation where I like didn't know this person, just met them,
Yeah.
and then they were suddenly like, oh yeah, I watched hours of you. I know like a shitload about you already. That'd be weird.
Definitely
Like,
be a red flag for sure. I wouldn't
when I
want to
talked
be at the
to when I
table.
talked to the girl I was dating, she just knew about like my like Elden Ring stuff, and she was never ever like creepy about it. Like I just got the impression that she just kind of liked it a little bit. Like it's nice.
Yeah, all about the vibes.
Yeah.
But that was like that was technically the first time I've ever been recognized. Never ever had an issue with that before. I say issue, maybe it's an issue, but like no one's ever like looked at me and said, "Are you Maxor?" It's never happened.
In the interview with Dusty, I wonder if he cares if I call him Dusty. I'm gonna call him Dusty.
Oh, he doesn't care. I'm still in regular contact with him.
Oh, cool. Were you afraid to show your face in that? Like, were you afraid to do a face reveal?
I'm still like afraid, and obviously like I'm bad at doing it because how it works is I have no place to put my camera, and I think it has an issue where if the connection to the computer via USB is like too long or something like that, it just the picture doesn't come out. I think it might also be when I try to plug it into a USB hub or something like that. But either way, my computer's a little far away from like my face. So every single time I think like, oh, I'll do this, I just kind of forget because I don't use my camera. I use it once every like 2 months. So it's I just don't care about it that as much. You know, when you're on streams or interviews, like fucking thousands of people are watching, so you're always going to be nervous about it.
It's true. Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, I figured you might because you should have seen it, dude. I wish that we had the camera on right now. While you were talking, Will was fucking curling up into a ball, like trying his best.
I was like a little armadillo.
Yeah, like trying not to fucking interrupt you. It was adorable. It was like the sweetest thing in the world.
So
he was being so polite. I'm so proud of you, but I knew the moment he stopped talking, you would forget what you were gonna say. I knew it was gonna happen.
I do want to ask Max before we forget this entire time. You seem like a Resident Evil guy. What is your favorite Resident Evil game? I've seen a lot of 4, 5, and 6. No, not 6. 7 and 8. And I think 4 is going to be my favorite. I've seen 2 and 3 too, I think.
I mean, I really like Village. I think that's 8.
Village?
I'm pretty sure Village is 8.
Wait. Which one had the werewolves? Is that the one you're talking about?
That was the Village.
Yeah. Okay, so it was 8.
Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah.
I really like that one. I don't know. I just appreciate the more action-oriented like approach with first person. Just because it also has like genuine horror segments that are nice. Obviously, like 4 is objectively the best, but I have like pretty good memories with 8. Of course, like I have really nice memories with 6 too, despite it being because it's the worst game ever made.
Okay, Mac, that makes me so excited because that leads up to my next question. Do you think, because I think Capcom is not going to be able to avoid being silly again, going back to their taking Resident Evil too serious route of like, 5 and, onward and stuff. Do you think we're going to get a Call of Duty Dying Light-esque first-person style Resident Evil game?
I don't think so because the material conditions that produce Resident Evil 6.
The economic conditions of the southeastern seaboard are just not in the right place for this, to be perfectly honest with you.
The place that the gaming scene was in at that time was very unique and very funny. Resident Evil 6 couldn't be made today because this was like this weird, unique time of like a particularly giant amount of executive meddling, trying to make everything Call of Duty and trying to make everything gray. Like, I don't know how to describe this era. I don't know what caused it. Like, this period in gaming history is an actual dark age. It is, like,
I can only
really
call
bad.
it silliness. Like the temptation of being silly.
The life cycle of the Xbox 360 and PS3 after the release of Modern Warfare 2 was, like, so fucking weird.
Next thing you're gonna say, dude, is that Metal Gear Solid 4 is the worst Metal Gear.
Can I think of a worse Metal Gear? Like,
Fuck no! Get out of here, Baxter! Go away right
I
now.
mean, probably Twin Snakes.
Twin Snakes
But
rules,
I don't know
dude.
if that counts.
Okay, legitimately though, if we're gonna okay, Metal Gear Solid 5 is the worst one. Can we just agree?
Will thinks Metal Gear Solid 5 is the worst Metal Gear.
It is. The
I mean,
story
in
is
terms
literally
of
just
plot,
him protesting.
in terms of like plot or like speaking to you, like, you know, the reason you might play, in terms of like the reasons you might play Metal Gear Solid 2, yeah, like, it's probably not the type of game, but it's just like a fairly solid gameplay game. Like, not even fairly solid. It's a good game in terms of gameplay.
You do defeat a bisexual vampire and defeat 9 Metal Gears. I don't know.
With Metal Gear Solid 2, like, nowadays you go back to Metal Gear Solid 2 because of, like, what it's saying. Like, it's actually, you know, its story and, like, what it's trying to tell you are actually, like, fairly deep and relevant points.
That is true. That's
And I feel like that's the reason you would try to play Death Stranding, and then Death Stranding won't give you that.
What do you think the next funny name Kojima will come up
It's
with
such a dumb fucking question.
with his next Death Stranding antagonist?
Will's over here be like, what's the funny name you think that the bad guy gonna
Look,
have
he named
in
his
the Hideo
character
Kojima
Die
game?
Hardman. I want to know what his next funny name character is going to be.
In Death Stranding 2, he's going to name somebody like Pregnant Bitch or something. Like that. He's
See,
gonna
I
have a
told you,
character name that.
he'd have somebody right on cue.
I don't know.
But in the game after that, I think he will just Impact 9 or something like that. Like,
yes, like
No, name him Impact Font. Helvetica Bold.
yeah, okay. His next masterpiece will just be called Helvetica Ultra Compressed.
where's he at? The Roman font.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I think I just peaked the mic with that laugh. Jesus Christ.
Did you hear about his new game OD? Apparently, he's going to get with Jordan Peele, the director, and make a PT. What was supposed to be PD, but called OD.
Really?
Oh,
Is
he's
that what that
making
is?
it with Jordan
Yes.
Peele?
Yes.
Oh, that game is just going to be called some shit like Black People.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be terrible.
They're just going to call it that. Like, Jordan Peele, like, Jordan Peele is like the movie director who kind of makes Kojima names for all his projects.
Did you see the name of his new movie?
What's it called?
Oh God, you're gonna make me say it. Okay, the name of the movie, Future Patrick. If this isn't okay to have on the episode, bleep it out because you might not want your voice saying this on the internet.
Wait, is it the magical one?
Yeah.
Ah!
It's real. It's real. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay,
believe
no, that is actually legitimately a good, cool name.
it is. It is. I just don't think you can put it on a poster and make people comfortable.
I just don't like names like Get Out, Us, Candyman, Nope. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Nope is like the most boring name for a movie ever made.
It wasn't a very good movie.
Was it not? I never
It
saw
was
it.
boring. It was just really boring.
I'm sure that these movies are fine or even great, but these names are fucking funny.
But so with OD, I'm kind of worried because Kojima, when he was doing an interview, said it is a game. Don't get me wrong, but it is also a movie and at the same time a new form of media. And I'm just worried because that sounds like David Cage said that. And if he's hanging out with David Cage, I need someone to save Kojima.
No, don't worry. Kojima's just making Metal Gear Solid 2. That just describes Metal Gear Solid 2, honestly.
That's also just what he says every game he puts out. Every single game, he's like, this is a new type of media. No, I'm sorry. It'd be like, this is a new type of a media.
I mean, he did that for Death Stranding, and it was just like, what he meant was, there are mechanics related to just walking.
Yes, yeah.
That's kind of a cool idea, but
It
like,
is.
I'm not, like, Kojima is possibly suffering from thinking that he's
Success.
the best shit ever.
Yeah. He's got like the Kanye West syndrome.
Yeah, I think so.
And I like Kanye West and Kojima. I think that says a lot about me.
I think you just like crazy people.
I do. I like crazy people. Crazy people they're entertaining, dude. There's nothing more engaging. So wait, Maxor, which one is your favorite Metal Gear? We never actually hit on that.
I mean, to play in like first time experience, probably 3. Or Snake Eater. I don't think I played 3 without Snake Eater. But like in terms of like being like really genuinely good and interesting art, and just being like objectively really interesting, like Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah,
that's fair. See, like that's how I feel about 4. I think the story is just so good in 4, especially when you get to the end and you're having to crawl through that tunnel and like all the fucking things are flashing by.
I completely disagree. I mean, there are elements that are good, like on their own. Like these elements would be good in like an original story, but I feel like 4 is very weighed down by the fact that they're constantly trying to like explain everything together. They're trying to wrap everything together in one big cohesive like thing in a way that like I'm not really sure is like a good idea, or like constantly warrants like bullshit explanations that
I can't disagree with that.
Of previous stuff, so
I can't necessarily disagree with that. Out of curiosity, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
I don't fucking like Star Wars, dude.
Oh damn! I was thinking you were
like, I know Empire. I have autism, so I'm supposed to, but I like.
Were you a Star Trek guy, dude?
Yeah, are you a Star Trek guy?
No.
Oh, he's just like no space, fuck space.
I actually like. There aren't really. I really like. This is gonna sound pretentious as shit, but I generally like some more grounded settings or in fantasy settings that like things are taken to logical like end points, if that makes sense. Like for instance, like one of the nicest fantasy worlds I've seen that I really like and appreciate is like the fantasy world in Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire. Like that shit's good. But in Star Wars and Star Trek to a lesser extent, but like I think for Star Trek it really leans into it, and that's the point of it, so it doesn't do anything bad at all. But like for Star Wars, I kind of don't like the idea of like, oh, everywhere else is a new goofy planet where like there's new goofy people everywhere and blah blah blah. Like I feel like to some extent it might, unless you're telling a story about like the differences between new types of people, it's kind of hard to like make me take it that seriously, if that makes sense. Like I can't look at the Ewoks and be like, well, I can't look at the Ewoks and like, you're not supposed to take it that seriously. Right. It's supposed to be kind of fun, and it's kind of fun, so I think it's good for like one watch. And like, I don't really understand why I don't understand quite as much why people dig into it.
You don't get the fandom
to big long extents. Yeah. When I think that they are great movies to watch once.
You hear it here first, sci-fi people. This is not the place for you.
Yeah. Will's fucking autism is straight up into Star Wars, dude. Like he's so into Star Wars.
I love all of it. I'm actually really big into sci-fi.
You for like a solid.
No, it's fine. I would turn around and shit talk fantasy, so it's all
not
good.
Like it's not my thing, but I can say other people would like the idea of like a universe where there's just a bunch of shit that you can like flesh out. Like, okay.
So I guess there goes us asking if you like 40K. There's no way, right?
Yeah.
No, 40K is like in a weird position where it both takes itself seriously but also doesn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the uncanny valley for me.
I treat it like a soap opera.
I feel like 40K is so big that it kind of loses focus a little bit.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's in service to the tabletop in reality. I think a lot of people...
Yeah, I feel like for tabletops, people want... And that's why, like... And that same reason why I'm not a huge fan of, like, Forgotten Realms or, like, D&D world building as much for, like, stories. Maybe for, like, D&D and stuff, it's a great idea, because in D&D, in a tabletop, you can focus on a specific aspect, flesh that out, and, like... go through with it entirely, and then you can move on to something else without traveling to another universe. But like, I don't know. For stories, I like the idea of places that are more tailored, if that just makes sense.
I'm on the same exact like shit, man. I prefer a world to be more tailored. I hate kitchen sink.
Oh yeah, Patrick just throws out like he'll just take a book, glance at it, throw it out, and be like, "All right, here's this new thing we're doing."
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to, like, the fucking Baldur's Gate universe just fucking blows, dude. They just try to do literally everything. It's the worst idea in the world.
When I play through Baldur's Gate, I don't take the world very seriously at all. Like, I never wonder, well, what's the economic relationship that Waterdeep has to this location?
Yeah.
Like, no, never. Not even once. But while playing through Baldur's Gate 3, especially with friends, it's quite fun. Because, like, it's very much leading into, this is weird, this is everything. You're gonna see a lot of, like, different shit constantly, instead of, like, a focus. It's, like you can't make a game like Tyranny or something set in the Forgotten Realms.
That's what you're supposed to do in D&D in general, is you're supposed to, like, be jumping from idea to idea.
I think the only game that even came close is, like, Daggerfall, essentially.
Yeah. I played through Baldur's Gate 3 with my wife, and, we had a great time, and literally it is now her autistic hyperfixation. She's literally playing it fucking 10 feet from us through a wall.
Were you surprised how easy it was? Like, all the characters came on to you in Baldur's Gate?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I felt like I was doing a dating game for a second. I thought I was playing a dating sim game.
When you play a multiplayer game, and you can only, with two friends, and you can only have one guy in your party. and like, you do all of Act 1, and you go to the camp or whatever where you're allowed to sleep with people. We just went up to every NPC, and they were just like, no, I don't like you. There's a lot of other people in this party, though, and we went through that, like, 5 times in a row.
Oh, no.
Because, like, we couldn't really get any characters except Karlach to have enough reputation with us. And the only reason that Karlach had, like, so much approval of us is because I respected her into a monk for a joke.
Jesus Christ. Who's your favorite character in Baldur's Gate 3?
It's gotta be Asterion. Dude,
yeah.
He's the best. He's a gay icon. He's the best.
He's the best. He's like the best written. Him and Shadowheart are literally the best written characters.
Gale is so good.
Gale sucks.
Gale is
Gale.
like the best, like, that you would get along with. Like, Gale would be your friend. But Asterion is just like, I just like him because he's not. I mean, obviously he is realistic in certain ways, but like, because he's not your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Asterion wouldn't love you if you were a worm. If you become, like, this is spoilers, by the way, but if you become a Mind Flayer, Asterion, like, treats you like dog shit afterwards, and he's just like, well, I'm the best, and you're like a worm now.
All right, well, this has been the AnythingCast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Will.
And Max, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, of course. Anytime.
Oh, do you want to plug anything while you're here?
Yeah, if you're not aware, I am a YouTuber. My YouTube channel is Maxor with a 0. And I take, 3 months to make a video, but when they do come out, they seem pretty cool.
I agree. I think your videos rule.
Thank you for the compliment.
Please link his channel. And thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Patrick put his channel in the description and shit. Put it up on the screen. Put it up big, real big. Blow it up real big. Scale it to 500, 700, 800, 900, over 1,000.
Link his Patreon.
Link his Patreon. All right. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Later.